Before Johnny Knoxville, before Evel Knievel, there was one Sam Patch, the first American daredevil. And now, even though Sam Patch wasn't the first daredevil to ever exist in history, he would be the first daredevil to actually try to promote himself and really just turn it into a career, because most daredevils before this were kind of just insane inventors. In records, the first guy that I could find that was actually a daredevil was this French guy named Jacques or some stuff. I don't know what his name was, but he was the inventor of the parachute, and that's why they called him a daredevil, because the guy literally went up in a hot air balloon and jumped out with a piece of cloth tied to his back. So I guess you can say that guy's a daredevil, but not in the logistical sense that we think of today, where they're doing it for money. That guy just did it because he was insane. And Sam Patch was born and raised in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. And even though Sam wasn't the first daredevil ever, he still was doing it way back during the turn of the early 19th century. And I say that because no one really knows when he was born, but we do know that he's been a daredevil ever since he was a kid. This guy was working in a cotton mill since he was a child, because back then in America, there weren't any, child labor laws being like, oh, that kid shouldn't work in a factory at 9. But, that's neither here nor there. What him and all the other boys at this cotton mill would do for fun after work is they would jump off of a dam nearby and jump into the river. And they would also just jump off of where the cotton mill was itself, because if you don't know, most cotton mills are built near a waterfall, and they use the actual running water to power the mill. And because of that, a lot of the boys would literally go on the top of the waterfall and jump off into the bottom just for fun. So ever since this guy was a kid, he was just doing it for the love of the game.
Oh, wait, I'm here. Oh, dear God, this place sucks. Oh, get me out of here. Oh, pull me up. Scotty, whoever this is. Damn you, Jeff Bezos, get me out of Google Maps.
And here's where the young Sam's daredevil career would actually begin, because after jumping off of these things just for fun with all of his friends, he actually realized that he had a knack for jumping off of things, which I don't understand how you realize that, but Sam realized it, and he used it to his advantage, because he would just keep jumping off of higher and higher places where even the boys from the cotton mill wouldn't follow him up to those heights and jump into the water from there, because they were scared, just because they were like, yo, Sam, what the fuck are you doing? Get down from there, you crazy bastard. Like, he's just so quirky. And around this time, when he would start giving all his friends panic attacks from jumping off of really high places, the local newspaper would actually write about Sam and his endeavors of just being an absolute lunatic. And now this newspaper was called the Democrat and Chronicle. Newspapers had crazy names back then, but either way. The quote here says,
"He developed as a LARPer. He developed as a leaper, a worthy... I can't read. He developed as a leaper in a wonderful way. Few of the boys caring to duplicate his feats, because he's fucking crazy."
So now after this local notoriety, Sam got a little bit of that cheese touch, and he wanted to get into the cheese market by jumping off of shit and having people pay to see it. So he was like 15 at the time, as an adult back then, and he said to his mom and dad, hey yo, I'm moving the fuck out, I'm gonna go work at another cotton mill. And this new cotton mill that Sam would work at was in Paterson, New Jersey, so he didn't move too far. And right around when Sam was moving in, he would realize that there was this large crowd around the Passaic Falls where an 80-foot tall bridge was being built, because, it's the 1820s and there's literally fucking nothing to do. So we're watching these guys build a bridge. Sam moves in and he sees this giant crowd watching this 80-foot tall bridge being built. And like how an Italian rat sees mozzarella, their mouths started watering and they immediately needed to leap off a ledge to get their adrenaline fix. Rats are very famous thrill seekers. So one morning, Sam wakes up and it's around September, and he goes outside and he sees that crowd is still forming around that bridge every single day, because there's really nothing going on around this neighborhood. And he finally just gets fed up with himself and he says, damn it, I'm just gonna jump off that bridge and show all these people that I'm the coolest gangster to ever live. So he's gonna go up there and just, run up onto the bridge while everyone's still building it, take off all of his clothes, except his pantaloons, of course, and he jumps off the side of the bridge into the water, absolutely stunning the crowd of this insane man who seems to just be killing himself. And then 15 seconds later, he emerges from the water a local celebrity, and alive. Most importantly, alive, but he was a celebrity afterwards.
bitch! My goodness. What happened here?
Sad shit. Motherfucker said he won't live no more. Jump.
And after this first shot at his absolutely insane stunt, he would understand that he had everyone's attention now in this crowd. So he would actually go around town and post flyers saying that he was going to do it again, but this time for a small donation fee for his travel costs, which was hilarious. Travel costs back then were like you walked or you had a horse. So I don't know what that cost. Maybe like a couple cents for the horse's hay. Like what is the donation? Like it's just, you're just paying them to jump, but you know, either way, the guy knew what he was doing. And after this first free trial, he would jump off the bridge a couple more times, getting them goddamn sweet revenue money from him, and charging them a couple of cents to form up a crowd like they were anyway and watch them jump off a bridge. That's how little was going on back then. And after these first couple of gigs where Patch would actually make some money off of this shit, he would actually become even more of a local legend now because he would put posters and it would actually become a local event whenever he would have these jumps. And he would be written about in not even just local newspapers. He would start gaining national attention from this. And all of these newspapers would refer to him as the Daring Yankee or the Yankee Leaper, or my personal favorite, the Jersey Jumper. That shit literally sounds like a cryptid. We gotta get Wendigoon on that shit. Add Jersey Jumper to your fucking tier list, bucko. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to curse. Please don't make me go say 5 Hail Marys. That's a joke because he's a youth pastor, and I could say it because I went to Catholic school, alright? It's okay, it's funny. Please, just laugh. Now, just like any other thrill seeker, they would always look for greater and greater thrills to eat up at that little adrenaline rush that they want, but also to get more money. Because this guy wasn't just doing it for the heart of the game, he was doing it for the cheese of the game too. That's why I love this guy. And because of this increase in ambition, Sam would head to the holy grail for jumpers back then, the Niagara Falls. Because at that point in time, no one had actually jumped off the Niagara Falls River and lived without having a giant barrel protecting them. There had been no one just plain clothes that had jumped into the Niagara Falls and lived to tell the tale. So Sam would actually land this gig, and he would do it a couple of months later in October of 1829. And he would perform this stunt from Goat Island. And Goat Island, I can show you here, is a little island that's right on the edge right before the falls. And this jump would match his previous jump of 80 feet, but this time, obviously, he would be leaping into one of the most rapid rivers on the planet, Niagara Falls. And the Evening Post reported that he walked out clad in white for the jump, and no one had ever lived to tell the tale other than Sam Patch. And even though Sam would make a killer off of this first outing, he, just like every other jump, saw this as an opportunity to just keep making more and more money, because back then you really could just do the same thing like 6 or 7 times and people would keep showing up because they'd be like, yo, did you see that guy jump off of the Niagara Falls? No, I didn't see it. When did that happen? I was on a fishing boat, because that's all there is to do. Oh, yeah, that's crazy, dude. The guy literally jumped off Niagara Falls and he lived to fucking tell the tale. Oh, I don't believe you, dude. There's no fucking way that could have happened. He would have died. Totally. 100%. No way, dude. He's doing it next week. He's doing it 10 days from now. Let's go. He's gonna do it from an even greater height this time. Last time he did it from 80 feet. 80 feet in Niagara Falls? There's no way you fucking jump 80 feet in Niagara Falls and you live to tell the tale. What the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean, what am I talking about? Oh, shit. What do you mean, what am I talking about? I literally fucking saw him jump 80 feet off. This time now he's gonna jump off of Goat Island, and he's gonna build a platform on top of Goat Island, and now it's gonna be a 125-foot jump. Here, look at this poster. I'll prove it to you. Well, that poster's fucking bullshit, and I fucking hate you, Steve. Well, Steve's not even my real name, mate. My name's fucking Australian guy. And local newspapers would actually be hype manning the shit out of this event for Sam, because they would be saying, and I quote from the Buffalo Republican, I guess back then you just, you know, had your name and then whatever fucking political party you were associated with. That's literally what newspapers were back then. Which honestly, I think newspapers should do that now, because literally every newspaper is just associated with one of the fucking political parties, so it would at least be a little bit more goddamn honest. But, you know, that's why Ground News is here. Oh, Ground News ad. I'm not sponsored by Ground News yet. Please sponsor me, Ground News. The quote from the Buffalo Republican newspaper is as such.
The jump of Sam Patch is the greatest feat of the kind ever effected by man. He may now challenge the universe for a competitor.
It was like, damn, bro. He just jumped off of a fucking waterfall. Literally anyone could do that. And little did you know, Steve would actually be right, because he would do it again, and he would successfully jump from the 125-foot platform. And after being the first man to successfully jump off of Niagara Falls and live twice, he would get a pretty big ego on himself and feel like he could just jump off of whatever the fuck he wanted. And he would continue to do so, because then he would look over to Rochester, New York, which he would see that there were a lot of high waterfalls there as well that he could slip his little greasy rat fingers into and pull out some cheese from the crowd. Pull out some of that greasy pence. Well, no, there weren't pence. That's English. Pennies. And he would specifically look at the Genesee River, which would have a height of 97 feet at the falls. And seeing this fall, he would say, damn, I fucking jumped off 125 feet. 97 feet can't be too much harder. So obviously, he just starts putting ads in the local papers and posters around town and starts advertising this shit. But he really didn't even have to advertise this one as much as the rest, because he, at this point, had really become a national celebrity, because newspapers from states he's never even been in had started writing about him, saying that he was one of the craziest people to ever live, because, yeah, pretty accurate. But in these advertisements that Sam put out himself, he would be bringing his pet bear with him to this show. That's some Florida man shit. So now it's November 6th, 1829, the day of the jump, and 8,000 people would actually show up in a crowd to view this spectacle, where Sam would walk up to the top of these falls with his pet bear, and he would take the collar off of this bear and throw the bear off of the cliff into the fall. And after the bear emerged out of the water and swam to shore, Sam was like, well, baby bear can do it. Yuma can do it. That's fucking math, baby. Yeet!
You a street nigga? Fill of that rim. Get up. Damn, Chuck.
And so Sam would land in the water of the Genesee River and come out to the crowd of 8,000 people cheering for him. And, you know, greedy little Sam here would say, man, I did not make nearly enough money off this shit. We're running it back and higher 1 week from now. And that's exactly what the posters would say. Higher 1 week from now, same place, same time. So, well, not same time, week later. You get it. And on Friday, November the 13th, Sam would actually see that about the same crowd would form for this second jump. And he would go up and do his normal gentlemanly whatever the fuck he would do before a jump. And he would climb up the ladder, and he would turn around and face the crowd. And he would actually give a really funny quote to this crowd right before he jumped. And I quote,
Napoleon was a great man and a great general. He conquered armies and he conquered nations, but he couldn't jump the Genesee Falls. That was left for Sam Patch.
And this quote is, you know, absolutely insane. He literally said this shit because it's like, when the fuck did Napoleon jump off a goddamn waterfall? What does that have to do with what you're doing? Like, people back then always just put such grandiose, like, metaphorical meanings to this shit, and it's like, dude, it's not that deep. The guy's just a fucking goofball. And some reports would say that this jump would start off just as good as any other of Sam's jumps, but this time he would have actually slipped right before he jumped off, and this would cause his arms to flail and his legs to spread apart. He would land sideways onto the water, and, you know, as you can expect, because before I said it was Friday the 13th, he didn't come back out of the water. He died. He was like, you know, 21, 23 years old. It's actually kind of debatable how old he was because no one really knows the exact date of his birth, but we know he was in his early 20s when he died. The funniest part about this whole fucking story to me is that when he jumped off and he died in the Genesee River, the whole crowd of thousands of people looking on at this catastrophe happening in front of them, half the people in the crowd literally thought that he had hidden off in some sort of cave that was underneath the water that had an air pocket where he was sitting there with food and drink, just, you know, laughing it up, getting drunk as shit underneath the water in an underwater cave, just fucking making fun of everyone. And then when the crowd dispersed, he came up out of the water and left none the wiser, and he'll come back in a couple of months to do another jump. And the reason people thought this mainly was because in the advertisements for this jump, Sam would actually advertise this jump as Sam Patch's last jump. I'm not fucking joking. And that's not because he knew he was gonna die. It's because the water freezes over during winter, so he can't jump into fucking frozen water. And so that's why it was advertised as Sam's last jump. Oh, you better come see this before the winter freeze comes in, then you're gonna have to wait 7 months to be able to see Sam Patch again, so you better come see him this time. And so that's why people thought that he had slyly come up out of the river and snuck away, and he'll just be back next year, faking his death and all for the spectacle of it. And so 4 months later, and 7 miles downriver, the local townspeople would finally actually find Sam Patch's body underneath the ice, decomposing. And they would take up his body from the river, and local doctors would actually do an autopsy on him, and they would say that the changing in the air temperature as he jumped down, because apparently it was colder towards the bottom of the falls, and because of this, the blood vessels in Sam's body would literally rupture from the rapid temperature change as he fell down. So the guy didn't even die from, landing in the water. The guy died before he even landed. So that's what the doctors back then say. It's really not known if he died from the fall or, during it, because, autopsies back then were just a guy poking a body and being like, yep, that guy's dead as shit. And after Sam Patch's body would actually be discovered, a lot of local newspapers would start writing about Sam Patch's death to get a little bit more publicity in the news again. Good title. Guy that died 4 months ago is still dead. A lot of these newspapers and a lot of ministers would actually blame the crowd of people that were watching Sam jump for his death, which is absolutely hilarious to me. It's like this guy was literally jumping off of stuff his whole life. The guy would have jumped off if he was making no money. This dude literally was just doing it for the fun of the game, and then he realized, oh shit, wait, I can make money off of this shit? That's crazy. And so after everyone would blame the death on the people that didn't jump, Sam's body would actually be moved to a local cemetery near the Genesee River, and his grave would be entombed by a wooden plank that would be left there that isn't there anymore. And this wooden board would say, "Here lies Sam Patch, such is fame," which honestly should be Macaulay Culkin's epitaph when he dies. And even though Sam Patch's life would be short-lived, Sam Patch would be remembered as pretty much one of America's first, folk legends, as you could say. People would tell campfire stories and sing songs about him, and even up until today, there's still songs and pieces of media and art that still reference Sam Patch, which is pretty cool. The guy literally created an entire job for people nowadays, and if you think about it, Jackass and CKY and Evel Knievel and all this other funny shit that happens nowadays probably wouldn't be half as funny as it is, because Sam Patch really lit the kindling that would start that fire. And that's pretty much it for Sam Patch. If I had anything to say about it at this point, it would probably be, if I had to write Sam Patch's epitaph, I would write, "Mo money, mo problems, mo shit to jump off of," because that's literally this guy's fucking life. Motherfucker was an absolute legend status. Absolute legend, yeah? Fucking the Legend 27. Oh yes, I play Raid Shadow Legends. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Alright, thanks for watching up until this point, and if you liked the video, please give it a like and comment down below. And if you want to join the 1% club, because only 1% of my audience is subscribed, as you can see behind me, you can be just like Bill Gates and just like Jeff Bezos, two people that have already subscribed to the Christopher Cridge channel, and join in. You want to be with these guys, right? These guys are cool. You think these people are cool? Join then. If you don't think they're cool, still subscribe. You want to be in the 1% club. You don't want to miss out. You want to join the bro army. You want to join the cringe army, or whatever the fuck I'm going to call my subscribers. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Bye-bye now.
Snap into a fucking explode! Don't move that! I'm sorry. Snap into a explode! You don't want to smoke cigarettes anymore?
First, you know there's only one thing.
You want to snap into a fucking explode!
A can explode. With 100 times the carbonation of ordinary soft drinks,
you want to snap into a fucking explode!
So if you think you can
snap into a fucking explode! 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 Explode!